Hello everyone. I'm going to take you through the steps of how I made this knife sheath. So in the first step, I'm just going to trace the outline of the knife. It doesn't have to be too accurate. Only thing we need to mark is where the blade and handle meets. Next step, we're going to sketch in the sheath that we want to make. So in this case, I'm going to curve it down, little extra pop out here. Since this is going to be leather, and the leather is going to be about this thick, this is the thickness of the leather here. Need to consider that in drawing this as well. We'll make it slightly thicker. Okay, so I think I'm okay with this design, and here we're going to add a little, should be about 2 inches wide, which is about 2 widths of the thumb, for a belt loop. Once I find a line I like, I'm going to go ahead and ink this out a little bit. This back line, make sure it's very straight. Braid, edge braid up here, all the way down to past where the knife blade is. One edge braid down here. And along this part here, I'm going to go ahead and use a hidden stitch. So there you have it, our initial design. I decided to make some changes here, most notably this curve. I'm going to curve it this way instead of up here. And down here I'm going to make this, give the tip of the knife a little more space and cut this curve down slightly. Oops. The sheath is going to look like. So the next step is to test whether this is going to work well. Take a piece of cardboard, fold it. This cardboard is about the same thickness as the leather we're going to use. And just trace this on. I'm actually going to trace this outer edge a little bit thicker because I think this is going to help the sewing process. I'm just going to rough cut this. This layer first. So this is approximately what the leather piece is going to be. Going to fit the knife in here, and this is approximately what it's going to look like when it's all said and done. So this is the veggie tan leather we're going to use. Down, it's very pretty, but it's got this cut here that makes it not really good for a lot of stuff. But in this case, the sheath actually fits right where that cut is. It's like it was meant to be. So just going to outline it here. You trace it on the back, obviously, so it doesn't show up on the front. And this side is already done, maybe. And just go ahead and cut. I'm not, again, too worried about this. I am going to cut right where that, because this is where we're actually going to stitch. It's a workout. So there's our template, fairly accurate. Let me trim a little bit off here, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. And this thing is very stiff. That's okay, we're going to soften this up considerably. I feel that part is just... So we've cut out the main part of the sheath, as well as a little piece for the belt loop. Next step, we're going to sky or thin the edges wherever we have going to have the braiding. Right here. And on the other side. And down here from about right here. And on the other side here. So from this all the way up here, we're going to skive. So there are lots of tools to do this, or you can just use a knife. I'm going to use a knife. I'm just going to cut this at so I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to continue this all the way around. Give it a beveled edge. And this board just helps steady it. Veggie tan leather being so stiff, the cutting process here is actually quite easy. Okay, so I've reduced the thickness here on the top part. Do the same for the bottom. Okay. This part we're going to sew because we're going to put the stitch inside the leather. Instead of showing out here, it'll be in between the leather pieces. I'm going to show it 2 hours soaking. After about 2 hours of soaking, we can go ahead and take it out. Put it on some heavy paper and just wrap it up. Let this guy dry overnight.